Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook, going to be sitting in for Eric on Inside the Program today. But Justin, you are the regular. You are the star of this show. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, help us get to 8,000. Got a lot of great things going on. Before the season gets going, and head to InsideTexas.com. You can use the promo code IT1. Get 2 months of Inside Texas Plus access for just $1. Justin, it's Friday. That means a lot of high school prospects are heading into town for another official visit weekend, including some very intriguing names at wide receiver, but most importantly, Dakorien Moore.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it starts and stops. The number one receiver in the country, full-on five-star, top target on the big board when it comes to pass catchers. The next 48 hours are going to be going to determine a lot in Dakorien Moore and his family's recruitment. I think they've been waiting for this one. I know the family has. You know, this is the time where they get wined and dined. Well, not necessarily, maybe the player not wine, but you understand. They get the red carpet. To me, the only question is going to be, are there going to be Lambos outside of DKR? Or are we looking at something a little bit bigger, maybe a 747, a stealth bomber? Either way, I think Texas is going to do it big, and it begins and ends with Dakorien Moore. This is down to Texas and Oregon, guys. It's going to be one or the other. Yeah, they're ready for this one. They've been waiting for this one for a long time, Joe.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Not only is Dakorien Moore in town, but there are also some other wide receivers that Texas has been recruiting for some time. One of them you just caught up with the other day. That's Andrew Marsh from Katy, Jordan. Kelshaun Johnson will be in town. Daylan McCutcheon will be in town. Texas has its guys it's prioritizing, or maybe are at the top of the board, but
Yeah.
some of the guys a little bit further down are making their way as well. Texas is maintaining contact, and Marsh is one of those guys who Texas has not stopped and cut off over the course of the process. They still talk to him, Chris Jackson, Steve Sarkisian. What do you expect from this visit from Marsh specifically?
Yeah, I noted it in our recruiting humidor this morning. You got to go to InsideTexas.com and check that out. You know, after Dakorien, I called them the three amigos in a sense because they're all the receivers not named Dakorien. And they're all kind of in the same bunch, same kind of category. You know, and Texas has stayed close with all of them. You know, and that to me shows Chris Jackson's being thorough. But I asked the question, which of those ones are Texas going to prioritize? Because it's going to be one of those potentially. You know, if the number's 4 and they've got their eyes on 3 5-stars, there's one more slot there. Like if Daylan McCutcheon's the guy, that's an excellent floor for your fourth guy in your wide receiver haul. If Kelshaun Johnson's the guy, look, we've heard that he may have given a silent commit to Texas A&M last weekend. He had a window of opportunity to commit during the spring game. Not sure if that closed yet or not. And then you've got Andrew Marsh, who might be, to me, the best of that bunch, pound for pound, the best hands in the state, one of the strongest route runners, just a really dynamic playmaker. The thing with him that's different than the rest is he's in no hurry to make a decision. We could see Kelshaun make a move in the next month. We could see Daylan McCutcheon do the same thing. Dakorien Moore, for that matter. Andrew Marsh is going to take this into the fall. He's looking at a potential Michigan official visit in November. And so, you know, that's kind of this weekend. I want clarity from all those other receivers that we're not talking about, you know, not Dakorien Moore. I want a clarity on each where those guys stand. I think the staff is going to be up front with each one. I think they're going to let them know, look, these are the spots, jump in, or, you know, head down the road and go another direction respectfully. That, to me, that's one of the storylines, Joe. The other receivers that are on campus, we need some clarity. I can't wait to talk to each one of them after this OV. I think we're going to know a lot more about how this wide receiver room could be shaping over the next 3 or 4 days.
Again, remember Tanook Hines made it in last weekend. He's someone who
Yes.
Chris Jackson talks to. So,
And he's at Notre Dame this weekend. Don't think Tanook Hines is token athlete. That kid has USC. He has Notre Dame. He has Texas A&M. He has a lot of schools on him, and he's got that flexibility and versatility to play on the other side of the ball.
Let's go through the commits that we know are coming into town real quick. Ricky Stewart, nothing to see there. We know that Ricky Stewart is going to be a Longhorn. Lance Jackson, same thing, one of the best edges in the country. But also Brandon Brown, a defensive tackle committed in December of 2023, has taken visits to LSU, has taken visits to Tennessee, but remains a Texas commit. This is a big weekend for the Longhorns and trying to make sure that they hold on to the Florida defensive tackle throughout the process.
Yeah, how often do you see a kid commit sight unseen? I've never spoken to Steve Sarkisian, but I'm going to commit to Texas today. That happened. And it was to Bo Davis. And soon as Bo took off, I think we've all been kind of counting down the days to where Brandon Brown may not be in this class. He's an out-of-state kid. Didn't have a lot of ties to the rest of the Texas staff. Just didn't feel like he was going to be in this class. Yet on what, June 14th, he's still a Longhorn, and he's had multiple opportunities to flip. We thought coming off the Baton Rouge OV that he might be, turn into the Bayou Bengals. At this stage, I think you just hold on loosely because he's an out-of-state kid. He is still going to take trips to Miami and to Florida, and actually outside of LSU, Tennessee, and USC, some of these other schools in pursuit. I think the Florida schools are the one to watch with Brandon because mom would love the idea of her son playing close. And so to this weekend, I think what Texas wants to solidify, hey, you've stayed with this long. Why don't we finish this dance? We've been in this relationship. We've built. We've gotten to know each other. How about we just continue this and build on this D line haul that Texas really needs to hit in 2025? Brandon Brown's a creature of the moment. I think he enjoys each trip that he takes. This weekend is going to be big. I can't wait to catch up with him and his mother at the end of the weekend because Texas can really, they can either lay the foundation to keep this kid in the class or they can start preparing for his replacement in a few months.
We have a full list over at InsideTexas.com with insight on each. Eric Naline had percentages. You've got your one big question. I'm going to throw just a few more of the guys who are scheduled to be here this upcoming weekend. Whichever one kind of grabs your attention, go ahead and say something on it, whoever you feel. You got offensive lineman Nick Brooks and Lamont Rogers, John Mills as well. You have defensive lineman Kevin Wynn, edges Marco Jones and Smith Orogbo, linebackers Riley Pettijohn and Jonathan Cunningham, and USC commit Treston Castro. Any of those kind of stand out, grab your attention at this point?
Marco Jones, one of the best edges in the country. Listen, I think there's something to having Lance Jackson and Marco Jones hanging out together this weekend. Both those kids are big baseball fans, just like you and I. They love the stickball. And the fact that they're both playing the same position, they both have similar interests, that's strategy. That's Sark and that staff saying, you know what, let's put like-minded people together. Let's see how they click. And look, Texas is squarely in the mix for Marco Jones. Riley Pettijohn, my one big question is, when's he going to commit to Texas? Is it going to be July? Is it going to be August? I think it's the Longhorns against the field there, and I think they can really finalize this recruitment with a great weekend. He's coming off Ohio State. He'll have A&M next weekend, but this is the one for one of the best linebackers in the country. Nick Brooks, Georgia. I just got a real big Georgia feeling about that one. Kirby Smart has been in on that one early. Jonathan Cunningham, are they going to push for a pledge? He fits exactly what they want to do, but we're not real sure how linebacker position is gonna come in. How much are they pushing for Smith Orogbo? That's another one, a high end edge. On3 has him as I think the number 4 ranked edge in the country, and so he's highly thought after, and so yeah. You got to go to IT. There's so many guys there. There's so many guys we try to cover. There's so much information. Eric and I have both posted a ton of official visit notes, details, one big question, percentages. Hey, anything we might have missed, come see us at InsideTexas.com. I promise you, we'll hook you up.
I like the offensive linemen they have coming in because Lamont Rogers, John Mills, angling for the spots that may be available in the class. Eric has insight on that. Defensive lineman, you got Kevin Wynn coming in, and Texas is trying to go to the Southeast, and Southeast schools are trying to come to Texas. a lot of different things. But yeah, I like the Marco
That's
Jones.
a big. That's a Georgia dude. Watch his tape. I know he's only about 6'2". I want to say 280, 285. That kid is fantastic. And listen, if Georgia is pushing for an in-state kid, you should be pushing for that in-state kid.
Before we keep on going, got to give a thanks to our sponsor, Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, trust a team that secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury cases. Don't let insurance tell you what your claim is worth. Hire Andre the Lawyer to fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but Andre and his staff serve Texans throughout the Lone Star State. Call Andre the Lawyer at 214-444-8808, 214-444-8808. Justin, recruiting never stops, but the team is back on the 40 acres, kind of in their second, maybe even third week of workouts there with Torrey Becton. They get some time with the coaches as well. And there's, some players who are always going to be a part of what we hear, Quinn Ewers and what he does in trying to take his, standing with the team. Ryan Wingo continues to get some good and positive reviews, but it's a guy who just started on the 40 acres in Silas Bolden, who we continue to hear very, very positive things about. And that continued throughout this most recent week of workouts.
Yeah, go back and watch Silas Bolden's highlights at Oregon State, and what you're going to see is a little Mighty Might, like on gummy bear juice. Remember it might have been a little too old for you, but there was a cartoon called the Gummy Bears, and those little jokers could just bounce and go. Man, they were quick. I think a football player designed that cartoon because those guys were agile. They could move. That's what Bolden is, man. He just bolts. He's got the shiftiness, and he's also got a little bit more length than I think people were expecting. And his versatility, it's like dropping it's like digging into the stocking at Christmas, and you've got everything out of there. So you're like, okay, and as you pull it, you feel there's still some more weight. You dig your hand back in, there's still stuff in there. That's Silas Bolden arriving last week. Like, it's a new toy for Sark and these guys to play with. And so I think that's the reason there's so much optimism. They're already had a stacked offensive room, and now you got another guy that if you get the ball in space, he's like a pinball. And so Bolden's going to be a fun guy. I'm curious to see how Texas gets him into that offense and the package of plays. It'll be something I think similar to what they did with Keelan Robinson and other slot receivers down the road, also in a special teams form. But yeah, Silas Bolden's already making noise. Like you said, Quinn Ewers is a lot of the subject just because he is taking on more leadership roles. One of the unique things about Quinn is that he's taken Trey Owens under his wing, similar to how he did Arch Manning last year. People think, well, these guys, they battle and they compete against each other. Maybe there's animosity. Maybe they don't get along. That could not be further from the truth. Whether it's their personalities or just who they are, these guys all really like each other, and they all really pull for each other. And I got to tell you, that's team chemistry at its finest. And so I think that's why that quarterback room is so fun to see grow and things of that sort. Like you said, Ryan Wingo, this guy's getting run with the ones in 7-on-7, and we shouldn't be surprised by that. He is one of the few vertical guys I think they have in this wide receiver room. There's a lot of small, shifty, fast, quick, can go type guys. Wingo's the one with some size, 6'2 and a half, about 210, probably about 210, 205, 210. Looks fantastic. Getting runs with the ones. I think that's kind of your biggest takeaways. It is the underwear Olympics. It is early, but these guys, the core of the group in this program right now, kind of are taking the initiative. They know what they can do. They know they've got a roster that can make the playoff. They know they're heading into the SEC with a lot of confidence, and they know they've got the national championship team week 2 up in Ann Arbor. These guys are very aware of what's in front of them, and I think Sark has positioned this team to unbelievably flourish in 2024.
Love all that. This is a time of year that, let's say about 5 years ago, it's just workouts. It is just Torrey Becton kind of running the show. The coaches really can't have anything to do with them.
Which was ridiculous.
And even before that, kids got summer jobs, and that's, a bygone era at this point. But now they're able to spend a couple hours with the coaches, both in the classroom, a little bit on the field. They are able to, get some instruction, use a football, and they're able to script some practices. The players kind of take over after a certain point for 7-on-7, and I think that's the ability to use a football kind of under official supervision is a great help for this team, just because you have someone like Bolden, you mentioned, who is coming to Texas. I kind of think he's like the old Texas Tech player Hakeem Grant, a little bit, a shorter
Team
player,
Grant. Yeah.
a shorter player that would play wide receiver like a regular tall player, I guess to say.
Played for the
Um,
Dolphins for a few years. Yeah.
yeah, he made it in the NFL. You have Wingo, fresh to Texas, still building rapport. Bond and Golden, they were here during the spring, but this gives them opportunities to work with Quinn Ewers and build that rapport. And I think in the portal era where Texas isn't going to major in it, but they're going to supplement their roster with it, especially when you look at the wide receivers and even tight ends like Amari Niblack. This is a big summer, and the fact that they're able to come in and, according to our notes, be as advanced and in shape as any team during Sark's tenure at this current point. I think that speaks a lot to the seriousness with which they take these summer workouts and what they're able to do in those summer workouts as well. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, help us get to 8,000. Use the promo code IT1. Gets you 2 months of Inside Premium access for just $1. Today is June 14th. That'll get you through August 14th, maybe a little bit earlier than that. That's
That's a
almost
scrimmage report.
Yeah, you're getting team intel unlike any other in the market. So head to Inside Texas, use that promo code. Thank you to our friend Andre the Lawyer for sponsoring the show. 214-444-8808. Justin, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com.